NBC4 News at 5 starts with breaking news.
Right now at 5, that breaking news starting tomorrow night. Southern California will be under a new state-imposed stay-at-home order impacting tens of millions of people. The reason why? ICU capacity has fallen below 15%. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Robert Kovacic.
And I'm Kathy Vara. That order will go into effect tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. and it will be in effect for 3 weeks. The goal is to bring down the soaring number of hospitalizations. All right, here are some of the numbers that prompted the order. More than 8,900 new cases were reported in LA County today. 44 people died and more than 2,700 people are being treated for Covid-19 at the hospital right now.
Governor Newsom has said that order would come if ICU availability fell below 15%. Today in Southern California, it has dropped to 12.5%. NBC4's Kim Tobin joining us live now from Burbank with reaction from businesses that will be impacted by this order. Kim.
Hey there, Robert and Kathy, and this is such a big blow for businesses. But like you just said, those numbers you just mentioned, LA County health officials say this is the highest number of people who are currently in the hospital fighting COVID-19 than we have seen the entire pandemic. And as we see the COVID capacity surging here, as we see the ICU capacity shrinking at this point, that state mandated stay-at-home order will kick in late tomorrow night. But businesses will really be impacted by this, who will have to close their doors for at least 3 weeks. As COVID cases surge and hospitals fill up, the state-mandated stay-at-home order will start Sunday night. Much of LA County has already been restricted, with no outdoor dining or gatherings of any size allowed. But the biggest change will be hair salons and personal care industries forced to stop work.
I think it's heartbreaking for all of us because we're trying to be as safe as possible. You see what we do. We take everybody's temperature. We use Purell.
Danny Lynn is the owner of Trim Hair Salon in Sherman Oaks. She says she will follow the state's guidelines and shut her doors for another 3 weeks, but it will be devastating for her and her stylists.
If they're going to shut us down and then open us up again with 20%, pay 80% of my rent here. That's seriously $6,000 a month. Pay 80%. I'd be very happy to just work at 20% capacity.
And many of the stylists, like Nadira Volpe, are independent contractors and don't qualify for unemployment.
People say, like, oh, well, you know, take one for the team. And it's like, we've been taking one for the team and there is nothing left to give, like nothing left. You know, like everyone's on the brink of just like complete like financial devastation at this point. Like we just can't afford this shutdown.
In LA County, they reported their highest number of cases for the third straight day, nearly 9,044 new deaths. As the entire Southern California region, 11 counties will be imposing new restrictions. Health officials say they hope it's enough to relieve the burden on hospitals.
If we adhere to these guidelines now, these requirements, we can hopefully begin to see that curve begin to bend and maybe get some relief before Christmas.
A sacrifice for many struggling business owners as they prepare for 3 weeks of closures, and hospitals hope to overcome the surging number of COVID patients, pushing them to the brink. And that salon owner tells me that in a few weeks there will be another round of grants that she can apply for, but she will have to pay some of those back. So she is hurting right now, seeking relief as they get ready to close their doors. And keep in mind, those new restrictions kick in tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. We're live in Burbank. Kim Tobin, NBC4 News.
This is NBC4 News at 6.
And now at 6, shutting down again. Southern California now just 30 hours away from widespread closures. Outdoor dining and hair salons in several counties, just 2 of the changes coming. The reason? As coronavirus cases spike, hospital beds are in short supply. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Robert Kovacic.
And I'm Kathy Vara. Here now are some of today's headlines. Los Angeles County reporting more than 8,900 new cases today with 44 deaths. And hospitalizations are closing in on 3,000.
Orange County reporting nearly 2,000 new cases today and will be shutting down many businesses as well. But the sheriff there says it's a matter of personal compliance and it will not be his department's job for enforcement. Governor Newsom said the order would be issued for Southern California if ICU availability fell below 15%. And it's dropped today in LA County to 12.5%. NBC4's Kim Tobin joins us live tonight from Burbank with reaction from businesses that will be impacted by this new order. Kim.
And Robert and Kathy, they say they are just devastated as they are preparing for this. But health officials say in Southern California, we are on a dangerous and upward trend here. Like you mentioned with those numbers, this is the highest amount in LA County that we've seen for new infections and the most amount of people that we've seen in the hospital now fighting COVID-19 during this pandemic. And those businesses, like you mentioned, are getting ready to shut their doors now for at least 3 weeks. A stay-at-home order from the state issued for Southern California. Salons and personal care services are getting ready to shut their doors for 3 weeks.
Let me work outside again. Just let us work. Hairstylists, there's over 600,000 of us in California. We're all struggling right now.
Danny Lynn is the owner of Trim Hair Salon in Sherman Oaks. They've been on a roller coaster ride since the spring, shutting down, doing outdoor-only services, and restricting the amount of people inside. And now she says they'll be financially devastated, but she's following the state guidelines, even though she feels they're safe.
There have been no incidents of hairstylists or any of our clients coming in with COVID or getting COVID, or we're just such a safe industry, and I think it's such a shame. We do feel very targeted.
Many of the stylists who work in the salon, like Nadira Volpe, say they've been hurting for months, and many don't qualify for unemployment as independent contractors.
Another 3 weeks basically means that I'm going to have to borrow money from someone who probably also doesn't have it just to be able to pay rent for my apartment.
Much of LA County has been restricted with no outdoor dining and most public gatherings prohibited, but now 11 counties are joining the list around Southern California. LA County health officials say with nearly 9,000 new infections today alone, we've seen the third straight day of record-breaking numbers for the highest cases in the pandemic. And hospitals are feeling the strain with the ICU capacity shrinking.
The more stretched they are in terms of space and capacity, and the more patients they have, it just gets harder for them to take excellent care of anyone that is sick enough to require hospitalization.
And health officials hope the lockdown orders and restrictions on businesses will keep people home to slow the spread and relieve the burden on hospitals as they work to care for the most people they've seen during the pandemic. Also, with this new order, the state is urging everyone to cancel non-essential travel, but state officials acknowledge that there's really no way to enforce this. They're really hoping that people will cooperate. And when it comes to those hair salons, nail salons, all the personal care services, you can bet they will be absolutely busy tomorrow. People rushing in to get those last-minute services done before this order kicks in tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. Live in Burbank, Kim Tobin, NBC4 News.
Oh, you are absolutely right. You know they will be busy.